BodyBags, where horror lies.
What up, BodyBags? New Year's Day seems to be like an ongoing theme, being the Monday slot. Last week I was with y'all for Christmas Day. Now I'm here for New Year's. But today I watched I watched this actually last night, and that's Strangeland by D. Snyder. And now I've seen this like actually a couple times in the past few months for some reason. I don't know why, but I've just happened to watch this quite a few times. But I'm a huge fan of serial killer movies. Like my favorite's always Asian cinema. Like they do the best horror in my opinion. But I always like serial killer movies. Like one of my top three favorite movies of all time is Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer. And just anything that has to do with almost like a true story or whatever of a serial killer I like. Where this isn't a true story, but this definitely shows its time. I'm trying to see exactly what year this came out. 98. And this is D. Snyder's. Did he direct this? No, he didn't direct it, but it was written by D. Snyder, who's the singer of Twisted Sister, which I'm sure y'all know. But basically, he plays a character named Captain Howdy, which is a serial killer that like preys on women online and like talks to them and invites them to a party and whatever. And this girl ends up going over there, and of course she ends up getting held captive and stuff. And the chick that gets held captive is actually I can't remember her name, but she plays the main girl in Freaks and Geeks, and she plays like Daphne or whatever in the Scooby Doo movies. I can't remember her name, but anyways, it's her. And her dad's a police officer, and they're trying to investigate it. And it's weird because halfway through the movie they do end up catching Captain Howdy or whatever, and then it shows him going to prison or whatever, and then it shows him, he gets his stuff to cover his tattoos, and he's a normal dude. And you think the movie takes a completely different tonal shift. Like it ends up being, you end up feeling bad for this guy because the whole town's like not cool with this dude, obviously, because he was a killer. But yeah, and then it slowly he evolves back into Captain Howdy and all that. Now, even though I've seen this movie quite a few times now, I find the movie it's draggy a little bit. It definitely shows its age because it shows the internet aspects of it and the chat rooms and stuff, and that was definitely way back in the day, the way all that looks. I thought the acting in this was pretty average to pretty decent. D. Snyder as Captain Howdy was actually pretty menacing. Like he looked pretty huge, and he looked pretty freaky actually. Like if I saw him on the streets or whatever, I don't know, but he was just menacing looking. And the story was pretty interesting. It's everything that we've seen before. Like when this first came out, if I would have caught this in '98, I probably would have liked it a lot more. But yeah, it was kind of underwhelming seeing it so many years later because this whole story has been done so many times. The cover, I really like the cover there, but yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot I could say about it. I mean, there's not a whole lot of gore or nothing, so it's not like I could say anything really good about the makeup. Although, like the piercings and all that kind of stuff for D. Snyder, I mean, I'm sure it was all real. I'm not sure about the piercings, but I know he was like really into all that suspension stuff and all that, and there's a lot of that whole thing. Like this seems like a movie that would be perfect for like tattoo shop culture or something. There's just a lot of that with like the early 2000s fascination with this kind of stuff, like in Hellraiser, Inferno and stuff. And a lot of movies from this time seem to have a lot of the suspension hanging off the piercings and all that. And you could tell this movie was trying to be like controversial and edgy back in that day, but like I said, now it's pretty tame. I mean, you could pretty much, there's nothing too shocking in this movie anymore. It'll probably be a while before I see this movie again, but I'd give this probably a 6 out of 10. Yeah, I couldn't give it too high of a recommendation because, like I said, this has all been seen before and everything from Silence of the Lambs to everything coming out. But yeah, if you like D. Snyder and if you haven't seen it, I suggest checking it out because it has a huge cult following, And they've been saying this for years, but supposedly eventually Strangeland 2 is coming out. I know they've done like a comic series based on this movie and stuff, and I know D. Snyder is really pushing, trying to get a sequel made for this. Supposedly he's already written it and all that. So hopefully it'll happen. If they do, I'll be stoked to check it out to see how they incorporate modern technology and modern all that stuff into it, you know. And I'd be interested to see what like Captain Howdy would be like as an older dude and all that. But yeah, I'd say give it a watch because I'm sure you could find it on Amazon or something for $6. I don't think it's expensive at all. There's no Blu-ray that I know of. I'm sure Scream Factory or something will release this movie eventually in like a big Blu-ray package because this could have some really sweet collector's edition artwork. But yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. Anyways, guys, Happy New Year. All right, peace.